information regarding the case, the corruption, the police taking the money, and all of that. He advised that many of his fellow colleagues have been murdered for unveiling the corruption going on in Mexico. So the fact that he's putting his own life on the line to uncover possible corruption in this case is admirable, to say the least. Now, y'all make sure to follow the lead attorney for the full interview. I'll put the link down in the description box below. He spoke to Gerardo in Spanish and translated it back to his viewers. I don't speak Spanish, so Gerardo and I message one another. He translates it back to English to me, so our communication...
It says, though, if you want to confirm what I'm telling you, ask Shanquella's sister, a mother, how much money she had to spend in Mexico if the government returned it to her along with her belongings. There
aren't very lengthy because the work involved, but the lead attorney is bilingual.
There you will find why they did not stop the murderers of Shanquella.
So we were able to hear exactly what Mr. Gerardo...
I don't know what that means. It was like, if you asked her sister and her mother how much money she had to spend in Mexico, if the government returned it to her with her belongings, there you will find why they did not stop the murderers of Shanquella. Well, that don't make sense. That don't make sense. If you want to know how much money she spent in Mexico, okay, she spent the money in Mexico. Why did they got to return it? That don't make sense. That just don't make no damn sense. I'm sorry.
Has to say. Now, Mr. Gerardo explained femicide. Now, we talk a lot about homicide in the United States, but we don't discuss femicide. And I personally had never even heard about femicide until this case happened. Now, he explained femicide as a murder against a woman versus a man, or it can even be a murder against a woman versus another woman. But it's considered a femicide if it happens in a very violent way. And that's what happened in this case with Shanquella Robinson. It was very violent. Also explained that it also carries a heavier penalty.
So everybody, I mean, this don't even matter.
That this was videotaped makes it 10 times worse than it was before. In the country of Mexico, a femicide carries a minimum sentencing of 20 years.
Ooh,
so 20 years is the least amount that any of the people implicated in this murder will get. It goes up to 50 years. Now, the person that they're currently looking for has not been named. He said that he's hearing it's déjeuner, but in the country of Mexico, a warrant is strictly private until the red notice has been released. And the red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. Now, he has connects with the police, he has other colleagues, and he's saying that he's being told it's déjeuner. It's definitely the person that's the aggressor in this crime, and according to the video that we've all seen and the video that he's going to detail, and I'll detail to you later as well, the aggressor in both videos happens to be Miss Dejanay Jackson. Now, to just briefly steer away from this interview really quick, I want to give you my own personal beliefs. I do not believe that this was a setup that they had prior to going to Mexico. I feel this was a card game, and one card in the game said, all players send hate mail, mean text, DM, post, etc. to the people that played tonight. I think just investigative standpoint, this was a card game gone dead. I'm just going to tell you how Shanquella slept in the master bedroom because she paid for the villa out of her own pocket, and we'll discuss that later. Now, I think Dejanay rounded up everyone and told them that she was going to fight Shanquella. Only one side of the bed had been slept in.
Well, I totally and very positively disagree. I don't think of no damn card game going wrong. I mean, cause that ain't no shot. I pretty much believe that yeah, I pretty much believe that she paid for it because she the one that had, she the one that was holding the bags. So I believe that. And then you just not telling me, girl, I don't, like I said, we have to agree to disagree, because you're not going to tell me, no, they just started playing a darn card game, and, you know, they played a card game. It just don't make no sense. Like I said, this shit was playing before they left Mexico. They all knew what was going on.
You can see the pillows on that side. One side had been moved, and obviously one side had not. Now, I believe she used that duvet, that one sheet that they fold up at the bottom of the bed. I think she used that to wrap up in, because you could see it was rolled up during the assault. Now, again, I believe she was woken up out of her sleep, because the assault, again, happened on the same side of the bed where it looks like she slept on. Now, there's been... And, you know, a lot of us do that. I think she woke her up and she confronted her and told her to get up. She was going to fight her. Recording or standing back far enough as to not wake up Shanquella, and they were probably told not to jump in. But they had their cameras ready to record it. Even her quote-unquote best friend, Mr. Khalil Cook. There are some videos on Twitter where you can hear Shanquella briefly say, okay, and Dejanay says, okay. Shanquella then puts one foot behind the other and reaches out to begin to block Dejanay. I do personally believe that Dejanay did wake her up, confront her, bring the other ones in the room, tell her to get out the bed, gave her enough space to get out the bed, because clearly there was just enough space in between them that I think Dejanay just wanted her to get ready, and Shanquella just wanting to get it over with was like, okay, not knowing that this will end her life. I don't personally feel like this aggravated assault was intended to end Shanquella's life. I believe Dejanay really thought they were going to fight, and this fight went completely left and ended up in a way that none of them figured it would end up. And
well, I totally disagree, because, okay, if it was a card game, that's what you call it, a game. That don't mean, okay, if it say we fight, that's play fighting. I don't think that if we going somewhere and playing a game, and okay, the game said A and B, y'all got to fight. Okay, I'm not in my mind, I'm gonna think that we getting ready to fight like we enemies. I would be thinking that we just play fighting. We rolling on each other, you know, push each other, and that's it. That's it. That's the end of go to the next go to the next card. So no, I'm coming with that bullshit talking this was a card game going wrong. No, they already had in their mind what they were gonna do. If they didn't plan that over there, if they didn't plan it in North Carolina, they planned it over there in Mexico. It was premeditated over there in Mexico that they were gonna jump her. Yeah.
did speak about the second video when a woman came into the room and stopped the fight and actually got into it with Dejanay. So again, going back to the interview, he does admit that there are two videos, and according to the police, there is a person that tried to intervene in the fight, and it's not one of those men. She heard screams and blows, and she came from the back bedroom, and she gets in front of the camera a little bit, and the camera goes to the right. So there was another smaller fight after the Shanquella interaction, so there definitely are two videos because we did not see that. Now he says in the first video, you can see that the woman kind of wants to get in it, but the camera goes to the right and then the camera stops. In the second video, she goes in and starts arguing with Dejanay, and that's when the fight stops, and then Shanquella starts convulsing on the ground. He hasn't seen the video, but he's getting this description directly from the police in his connect. Now, I am not sure, and I asked him, I'm waiting on a response, but I am not sure if this other woman was Winter Donovan or Elise Hyatt. I'm leaning more towards Winter Donovan because she seemed like the more concerned one out of the crew, and she was also the one that called 911 when the doctor could not revive her. Now, the only thing that confuses me about this situation is that he said the woman ran from a back bedroom, so I am not sure if he was trying to say from the back of the room or if he was talking about Winter Donovan, because as far as I know, Winter was already in the room, and she was the girl that was recording saying, why did she have to fight back? So I don't know. That just confuses me. Maybe that was...
See, I don't know if this girl got all her facts and shit straight, because that person that said, why won't she fight back, sound like a whole dude. Don't sound like no female, but you know your voice on recordings don't always sound the same as you sound in person. So, but they even said that it was her friend, one of the dudes that were holding the camera. But no, they don't sound. Let me play it back. They don't sound like no female.
I'm not sure if he was talking about Winter Donovan, because as far as I know, Winter was already in the room, and she was the girl that was recording saying, why did she have to fight back? So I don't know. That just confuses me. Maybe that was the same person, which we still know to be Miss Dejanay, will be locked up in a medium security prison that's called the San Jose del Cabo prison, which is in the same city that this murder took place. And let me tell you this prison is nothing to play with. And we'll get into that in a minute. The prison sentence will be determined by the judge. And in this case, the person that committed the crime fled back to the United States and abandoned the victim. This is another aggravating, determining factor that is causing them to classify this as a femicide. There's extreme violence. There's leaving the body. There's recording it, which is recorded it, and recording it is a determining factor. You best believe that warrants will soon follow for the people that recorded this as well. Now, in order
I just
to
said this,
extradited back to on the warrant will be released as well, where she works, her relatives, and all of that information. But again, the warrants right now are classified until the red file is completed. Now, the red file is the process to get the documents together, to get the arrest order, and get all of the documents and send them to the Interpol. He's estimating that this is going to take about 15 days. It's all dependent on the intelligence of the FBI in the United States. So Mr. Gerardo is saying that this information regarding the warrant should be released to the public sometime next week. They just need to get the information for the red file and ask for the extradition orders. So they have legal procedures that have to be carried out, one with the police and the other with foreign relations. They have to work together. Once this notice is given to the authorities can then go pick up the person and take them to custody. When the person is arrested in Mexico, she'll be taken to the prison in San Jose del Cabo. There's a hearing that's first held. This is called the first hearing. They'll read her rights and also explain all of the evidence. They'll go over the audio, the video, all the documents that they have, and they have a lot. This will all incriminate her. Now, the second step is another hearing. After that second hearing, they will give the prosecutors 3 to 6 months to complete and close the investigation. There will not be a trial held for this murder. Now, note this. When she makes her declaration, more information will come out. This will reveal whether this is a homicide, whether it's a femicide, whether it's planned, whether they were just drunk and playing around and it went left. Once the aggressor makes her declaration, we will then see if more people will be implicated. Now let's say this evidence is science. According to Mr. Gerardo, she can't say that the fingerprints on Shanquella do not belong to her. This is all science. They have traces of blood. They have all of the proof they need. So if she does not confess, they don't need it. Now again, unluckily for her, this sentence for femicide is a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 50. But because of everything that was involved, the videotaping, the type of aggression, the type of violence, 20 years is not what she's going to get. And I guarantee you, because so much light is shed on this case and it's making Mexico look so bad at this time, they're going to make an example out of her to make sure we Americans don't go over there and do that type of violence in their country again, making them look bad. So, what she can do, however, is start snitching. If this was a plan that they all had prior to going to Mexico, if this was a plan they came up with that morning, if they told her to do it, these are all things that she could tell them to implicate some of the others.
She probably...
Well, now they don't need to tell her that because she need to say she might go in there and start lying. Now, if she knows she getting ready, you know, because her life gone. Because she roll up in there and she realized that she getting ready, you know, her life done ended over there all the way in Mexico, where she knows she ain't getting ready to get no visitors. Yeah, she might go in there and throw a couple lies in there on them. Yeah, we planned it, da-da-da. I'm just saying. If she was mean enough and cold-blooded to sit there and beat that girl till she killed her, what make you think she gonna be even? What make you think she gonna have a heart now? And she getting ready to go. She getting ready to get buried under the jail in a whole nother country. She don't know nothing about. Don't know no people. Can't speak no English. Gonna get her ass towed up every day. If not taking her goody goods. Oh yeah, she getting ready to get it. Yeah, she getting ready to get it. Let's see how she fight then. Let's see who next she severed then. Yeah, cause she getting ready to go down through there, baby. They might well don't even pack a lunch, cause she done.
Don't lie too and say that.
She can get less time, but she can't get anything less than the 20 years. So if they decide to give her 30, they might lessen it to 25, but she can't get anything less than the 20 years. Now, the Mexican officials do seem like they need a little help trying to figure out what happened in this case. According to Mr. Gerardo, they were thinking that it was a game gone bad, and they thought that Shanquella went and put some intimate underwear on top of Dejanay's head. They didn't know that it was a bonnet. They ain't never seen nothing like that. They were thinking Dejanay woke up and she saw these underwear on her head, and that's the reason why she yanked it off with such aggression during this assault. And this is not a bonnet. And he was laughing like, bonnet where? Also, they were thinking that Miss Dejanay was transgender because the maid and other people at the villa kept seeing her take off her wig and put her wig back on. They're not used to wigs like that over there in the country, and more than likely, she had the stocking cap underneath it, and maybe, you know, sometimes the stocking cap makes it look like you have a bald head. Dejanay does have very strong features, and she's very tall, so they were thinking that she was transgender. And I also told Miss...
They said, thank you. I just translated it. I believe they still had Dejanay listed as a transgender. She is a real woman, and according to reports here, there was at least one other person who fought her. I realize the language barrier may have hindered
Gerardo, y'all have her listed on the website as being a transgender, and she is not. And the lead attorney had to let him know that as well. She's just a big girl. So Dejanay, the lead attorney, and I were just trying to make sure that you got to the right side of the jail when you got over there.
She's a real woman, but let's not miss the fact that she could be a transgender.
Let's first talk about the Attorney General, Mr. De La Rosa, who is currently investigating the doctor that worked on Shanquella. Because according to the autopsy, they're saying Shanquella died at 3:00 p.m. And according to the doctor, she didn't arrive to the villa until 3:15. So that means that Shanquella had already passed or ascended before she even got there. And she claims that she was working on her for 3 hours. So or you're working on just in the country of Mexico, and there are people involved that need to go back to the United States, they're typically held there in Mexico until this is solved, until they can find out what happened. And the fact that they let them go and let them go so quickly, they're looking into the police to find out, hey, for the whole time they paid for it, the villa refunded all of the money, which happens to be $5,400. These are all things that are being investigated currently. And again, I did advise you that Mr. Gerardo did tell me that funds were stolen out of Shanquella's bag up to $17,000.
Damn. Do you have any idea why the police will cover up for the individuals from another country? A police source tells me that it was possibly because the agents who processed the crime scene kept $17,000 that Shanquella bought in her luggage. If you want to confirm what so they trying to say.
And honestly, the only way to really prove how much Shanquella did.
Damn, 17,000. Well, you know, they over there in Mexico.
Refunded all of the money, which happens to be $5,400. These are all things that are being investigated currently. And again, I did advise you that Mr. Gerardo did tell me that funds were stolen out of Shanquella's bag up to $17,000. And honestly, the only way to really prove how much Shanquella did take over to Mexico would be going to that airport and meeting with customs to find out how much she declared. So FBI or whoever's investigating, if you haven't done so already, they need to find out how much was declared, how much went back in her bag. Gerardo, the police and the doctor are under investigation, and honestly, the autopsy does not lie. It can give you so much information down to the T because of the science. So we're going to believe the autopsy before we believe the police report and before we believe the doctor. But if the doctor did indeed get there and Shanquella was already passed and they did not give this information to authorities and they covered it up to protect tourism in Mexico, they need to go down for this murder
all the way down.
And rightfully so, they will do so. Now let's talk about this prison that this unnamed person will be going to. Now this prison is filled with people that have done a lot of organized crimes. It's a prison full of gangs. Now the deputy director of the prison murdered because he didn't agree with the proposals of the inmates. They said one of the guys in the prison uploaded to his social media the conditions inside of the prison, and they were horrible. One of the worst in Mexico. Dejanay, you better not walk in there with that same aggression that you had on camera that I saw you with, because I'm telling you, it's not going to work out for you over there, girl. Go over there clapping your hands and wanting to snatch off a bonnet if you want to when you get over there. I guarantee you won't make it a week. Just a word to the wise. If I was to have Dejanay go over to Mexico and be pleading her case and throwing me under the bus, y'all better get the singing, whatever you saw, whether you recorded it, any other recordings you have, need to go ahead and come out now, because I guarantee you when she gets over there, she's throwing y'all
all the way under the bus.
Taking this by herself.
All the way under the bus. I don't blame her.
Go ahead and get your name.
I don't blame her. I do. I mean, they did it. They was all in it together. Ain't no way in the hell I'm gonna take this by myself. And so that's why somebody need to come forward and tell the truth. Because Dejanay gone. She gone. Ain't no need of them trying to put out no hit, no nothing, nada. She gone. They might well go on and sing Kumbaya. And with that being said, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this second video that's surfing. But as far as my opinion on it, like I said, all that was there that sat there and watched this girl beat that girl like that, yeah, they all need to do some type of crime. Now, I don't, like they said, this second girl come in and she broke up the fight, her and The other girl got into it, but still, I'm just saying, this ain't no card game gone wrong at all. So, get that out of here. Y'all smile on purpose. And I love y'all.